B.J. Schwartz, was it?
This is B.J. Schwartz,
Okay,
and this is...
I'm Annie Lukowski.
Okay.
So virtual reality is, I mean, there's a number of meanings to it, but in general what you're talking about is, if you've heard of the Oculus Rift or the Gear VR, you are putting a device on your head called an HMD, a head-mounted display.
Looks a little bit like ski goggles.
Right, and if you've seen Ready Player One, you've seen them, you put it on and you are suddenly inside a world through the sensory input of your eyes, because you can turn around, it senses that you're turning around, and you're in it. And we make films within this environment as opposed to playing video games, which is, we capture the world with a camera that's much like a globe of cameras. It's usually somewhere between 4 and 24 cameras that then you stitch through a painstaking process together to make one globe of information that's also stereoscopic, and then you are in the world when we shoot it as opposed to watching the world on a screen.
So when somebody goes to see it and you're able to show this in the theater, and if somebody wears, no, you're not able to show this.
Well, I mean, theoretically, yes, somebody could sit on a seat in a theater, but it's best experienced just in any space, on a swivel chair so you can turn around.
It's helpful.
It's helpful. And then any old place. In fact, flying here from California, we noticed a couple people on the airplane watching VR, which is, it seems like a perfect place. If you don't want to be on an airplane, you want to be relaxing. If you want to be on an airplane, you can just
when you could be
go up.
Suddenly in Cabo, like that's the.
And so they're watching it on a laptop, or they're watching it on what?
So there's built-in ones. So there's the things like the Oculus Go, where it's all one unit, and then there's the Samsung Gear. So if you have a Samsung phone, you just put it on one of their gears, and then you're right in it.
So it's the head-mounted displays, and there's some that you hook up to a computer, and then there are some now that are your phone slaps into them, and then there's some that are just completely standalone units. And whichever one you use, you're basically having the same experience of with a unit next to your eyes. You're in the world.
The mobile ones, because they're phones and they don't have direct connections to computer, are generally for watching video and some light interactivity, whereas the tethered ones are where most of the video gaming and the rendered and the really heavy file ones.
Processing.
Yeah.
So we're at the Hampton Film Festival, and so how will people view your film here? And you made a film, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's why you're here, right?
Yeah,
our film is called The Hidden, and it's a thriller that drops you in a game of cat and mouse where you don't know who's the cat and who's the mouse, and it's very high stakes and high tension, and in the end we hope you're going to end up thinking about American society in a way that you might not see coming. Yes. So that's...
but for us, it's playing at Mulford Farm, so every day from noon to 4 you can stop on in.
Open to the public?
Open to the public, a little bit of a line, but we'll shuffle you right in. But for us, really, when you put on VR, VR is all about taking you somewhere else, giving you that fresh perspective, letting you literally walk in the shoes of somebody else. And what we've experiencing the past 2 days, when people put it on, at first they're like just excited to be in VR and look around, and then it's a very auditory experience. So people are talking. At one point we had to ask somebody to be quiet today, but they're like, no, don't do that, stop. Yeah. So they were so engaged, and people are taking off the headsets. They've been crying, they've been angered. It's been a very emotional experience.
It is an adjustment, though, for somebody, because I have put it on at the Consumer Electronics Show, CES, and I did a roller coaster, and then I did Studio 54-ish kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'd be honest, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's it's very important to say this, because this is like, Annie has said this before, like, so let's say if I went out to the store and bought a television, brought it home, turned it on, and Jerry Springer is on, I'd say, I hate televisions, throw it away. And that's, so like, if you, a roller coaster experience in VR is gonna make you feel sick.
Right.
So
bad VR is bad VR.
Right. And roller coasters aren't necessarily bad VR, but that's a very aggressive experience.
Yeah.
Filmmakers should not be doing those kind of things in general unless they're warning you. Like this movie is like, if you put this on, I don't think you'd have any trouble at all. It's very much, there's no excessive motion or anything like that.
And I think that's why right now we're so happy that Hamptons, this is the first time they've had a VR experience, is embracing this, because we need the general public to see that there are quality films. There needs to be a gatekeeper so that you put on the headset and you just don't watch bad experience after bad experience. We need these tastemakers that film festivals are for our cinema.
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's talk about the film. And thank you very much for giving us some technical background
Yeah.
so our entire audience can learn a little more
Yep.
about this. And there's no doubt about it that it is a media that is here now and
Yep.
will be here forever.
Yeah.
And as I liked your tasteful way of saying, let's use it in the right way.
Yeah.
And but for some, roller coaster with the VR is
it's fun.
like
It's fun.
just getting on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's-
which is great.
There's
Which is
nothing
great.
wrong with it. I mean, there are things that can be done in VR that are simply bad. A roller coaster isn't one of them, but I will say that, like, for instance, if you take somebody into an experience, we've learned, it's pretty quickly learned, and you don't say, it's called locking the horizon. If you have moving through space and the horizon's moving, anybody who's in that headset will be sick for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's bad. so I mean and that's very hard for us because we really do believe in this medium. We think it has an incredible power, and a lot of people will put on the headset, get an experience like that, and they'll never put on a headset again. I wouldn't either.
This picture that we have right here, now is that a picture has some relationship to your movie or
No,
some
I-
relationship to the Milford farm or the farm that it is at?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think that's just like a stock image that they found to kind of
Promote VR.
promote VR. But the hidden. I don't know if we should give spoiler alerts or what, but the film really takes a turn in the middle, and what it does is has this unexpected twist that starts you questioning what's really happening and who's got the power and who's in control and what's
Who's wearing white hats and who's wearing black hats.
and what's legal and not legal. And it's those moments and this particular issue that we personally are very invested and involved in, and we've been showing it to audiences, and people have been really like, wow, I never really thought of that way, and all sorts of other.
I mean, I think we can say that it involves an ICE raid. There's an immigration raid in the piece, and from various perspectives. Without you experience this from a perspective of power, from a perspective of powerlessness, and there are ultimately moments where, from a position where you can have no effect, you're watching the interrogation of your children if you're in the shoes of a father, and it's just
just painful.
It's just painful, and a lot of people. But it's also hopefully fun. I mean,
people said that. I loved it. I loved it.
First
I'm
and
very
foremost,
upset right now.
right.
I love it.
Right.
Like some people, it's very funny because after you get out of the experience, some people really want to talk about it. So they ask us question after question
really?
after question, and they're great. And then some people get off the experience and they just have this look and they start running away. And I'm like, I'm curious. Like, did you like it? And what I'm thinking maybe their politics is different. And they're like, I loved it. I can't talk right now.
Right. It is a little. It is worth warning audiences that it's not like it's hard. It's a hard piece. It's not like
it's obviously a subject
Sunshine
matter.
and Puppies.
It's
right.
a subject matter that you two care about, social justice.
Yeah.
I saw those two words
Yeah.
in the write-up of
Yeah.
your piece.
Thank you.
Obviously, you have a perspective of whether this is whatever's happening in your movie is social justice or not social justice.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right?
And-
Very well said.
But also for us, and this is in VR, we wanted to make a good experience, an entertaining movie.
Right.
We were lucky to win an award last winter, a Telly Award, and we won for just general drama and the gold.
Meant a lot to us that
it
wasn't
was
just-
not just in the VR department. And the other nominees was Kobe Bryant's short film that went on to win the Oscar. So to know that VR is getting its place as an art form and is comparable, and people are getting understanding and learning and looking at the art as much as any other medium, for us, that's just a success.
Right, which is to say, I mean, it was always very, very, very important to us that first and foremost, somebody put on this headset and like, wow, that's a story and it's a thriller.
Because we don't want to be didactic.
Right. The worst thing you do is just tell people what to think about something. We didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's you're utilizing a new media
Yeah.
in what you feel is a positive way to get additional attention, I will say, because that's good.
Yeah.
And it's once again, it's like the cell phone, or it was like cable television years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like television when everybody started doing that.
Yeah.
You know, it's media that can get a message to the world.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
And cutting edge, let's call it, and though with a old-time story.
Yeah. So we also, like our company's bread and butter is commercial production work. So we've been really lucky to have some amazing clients from Toyota to Jimmy Kimmel. It's really a great one. You get to be a guest on Jimmy Kimmel, and he asks you questions, and Banana Republic. And we always say that the commercial work informs our filmmaking because we get to test new equipment and work with new craftsmen, new artisans. But the filmmaking, this narrative stuff, also informs our commercial work because we can learn about storyline, we can learn about character development, we can learn just about the role of music. Like people don't know, like, oh, in reality you don't have a soundtrack. Can we have score in movies? You know, like, so that's our composer is a brilliant man. He composed an entire soundtrack for the whole thing. And we said, I don't think we're going to use it.
It was brilliant music, but then we said, but it's like this is
cinema verite.
It's cinema verite in the extreme. Like there's a documentary feel to this because it's like, oh, this is happening right now, and I'm there.
Because you're experiencing it. So we have music in the credits.
But this does really. I mean, it is a really like an excellent like thing like that to say that. People talk about rules, and this is a brand new media, and people are already starting to talk about rules. We believe and have taught a couple classes and things like that. We believe there's one rule in VR, which is try it, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Fine, but try it, and and that's where we are. And everything that was in this was something that was an experiment that we put together. We've tried it, and we're very happy to see that.
It's called The Hidden.
The Hidden.
Okay. Let me ask you, and thank you both very much. Let me ask you a couple last quick questions, okay? Because we're very involved with a few different things, and I've asked thousands of people as a result of that what they think about a few things.
Okay.
First thing I'm going to ask you, and if you say your name again, is what does peace mean to you?
Annie Lukowski, and. Peace means, for me, I have 2 children, so peace means getting to bed at 7:30. And on a larger scale, it's equal access and opportunity to the pursuit.
Being able to love who and what you love without any threat to your person, that would be peace to me.
Okay. The other question, thank you very much. The next one is we're involved with a movie, and it's called Woodstock Forever.
Oh.
Peace, love, and hope. Okay. So I'd like to ask you, what does Woodstock mean to you?
Wow. Peace, love, and hope?
Okay.
I just sort of think of, I think of an era in which, and perhaps it's rose-colored glasses, where there was a sincere form of activism in the world that is something that I aspire to see again in the world. That, I guess.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
And yourself? And your name again, if you don't mind.
Annie Lukowski, and I would agree. Woodstock was that galvanizing moment for many young people where they realized that we can make a difference and we can take control and we do have options, but we do have to do something and we do have to stand up and use our voices and use our vote.
Wow. All right. Last question, okay? What does love mean to you?
You go first. Say your name.
Wow. Oh, do I say my name again? This is BJ Schwartz, and what does love mean to me? I mean, I'm just going to be as raw as possible. I just got a puppy. And love to me is my puppy. Right now, that's what love is to me. And it's just, love is wanting, love is, it's, I know it's trite, but love is caring more about something than you care about yourself.
It's gorgeous.
Love is unconditional hope.
You two are brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing with us. Thank you.